Hello. Gotta change it up a little bit here. But welcome everybody back to my DVD and Blu-ray collection overview video for the year of our Lord 2025. And we're gonna get into part 9. So part 8 we wrapped up the OG shelf. Part 9 we started getting in here. So we'll finish this cube up. We'll try to get maybe the rest of this side done, and then we'll move over to here, and then we'll move into the other shelf, the 2 of 2 over there, and then after that we're gonna finish up Blu-ray and get more into the DVDs and stuff. But we'll keep it rocking and rolling. So let's do it. So here we go. All right. So we have Tropic Thunder. I love Tropic Thunder. I know the whole thing is like you couldn't make that movie today. Well, true. But I think that this is one of the last true great comedy films as far as I'm concerned. But I absolutely love this film. This is the old Paramount Blu-ray. I know Kino did a version. I don't think it had any new extras though. So I'm good with this one. Because this one, it only has the director's cut. But I prefer the director's cut, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Yeah, and I don't think the Kino release had any new extras, so we should be good with that one. And like I've said before, I love movies. You guys know that clearly. Do I need everything in 4K? No. I'm more about, I like the film. I watch the movie. I don't get it because it's in 4K. And I like the extra features. So if there's extra features on the 4K release that are new, yeah, I'll pick it up. I could really care less about, a little bit better picture quality, especially for older movies that aren't going to look that great. They're going to look good, but they're not going to look amazing because they're from, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So there's that. Next up, we have the Buffy, the Vampire Slayer movie. I always really liked this film. Joss Whedon's a fucking pussy. Joss Whedon is a bitch. I know we complain, oh, they ruined my movie, and Donald Sutherland. Shut up, bitch. I could never. The only stuff that Joss Whedon did that I really like is Buffy and Angel. I never saw Firefly. I never watched, what was that one he did, Dollhouse or whatever. A lot of the movies that he's written I like, but a lot of those. He was just a script doctor, like Waterworld, he was a script doctor. I think Toy Story, he was a script doctor. But he wrote enough to get credited for it, so there you go. He was always, for a while there, he was the hotshot screenwriter. But, out of the stuff that he created on his own, I only like Buffy and Angel. Other than that, I could really, if I never see Firefly, I think I'll be okay. But there was always something about him that I didn't like. And then when all the shit came out about how he told Charisma Carpenter to abort her baby and all, yeah, you're a fucking dick. And I know he complains about this movie, but I've always liked this movie. I always thought it was fun. Kristy Swanson is still hot, so there you go. And it's got a really good cast, and unfortunately, most of them are gone. Luke Perry's gone. Donald Sutherland's gone, Rutger Hauer's gone, Pee Wee Herman. But Pee Wee Herman's death scene in this movie is absolutely hilarious. And then it rolls through the credits. It's fucking hilarious. I love the Buffy movie. That's just me. And then we have Leon, the Professional. Classic film as far as I'm concerned. The whole thing about, the whole angle about pedophilia and whatever, I never got that. I never understood that angle, because Matilda is in love with Leon. So, I mean, that's not pedophilia. If it was the other way around, it would be, but you know what I mean? So, I never understood that angle. I never got that. People are fucking retarded. That's the other thing. I know I mentioned in the last part, this moron, when I did that video about how I want people to stop telling me their drama, this moron's like, you say you hate pedophiles, but you got all these movies with pedophiles. Like, what? What movies? What are you talking about? You fucking retard. Who are you talking about? Who? You're an idiot. Anyway, so there's that. But this is a great movie, and this has... It's in 4K, but it has both cuts of the film. I always preferred the extended cut, the director's cut, so there's that, and it's got some features. But this is another one that I'm shocked they've never done a super duper updated version. But the director, Luc Besson, is a fucking pedophile, so there's that. So, oh well. Then we have... Let me do it this way. The 3 American Pie movies that I like. I know 88 did 4Ks of the first 2, but I don't think they had any new extra features, so I didn't get those. So we have the original, which is still my favorite. I think this has both versions of the movie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it does. And then it's got a 3-hour documentary, so that's pretty crazy. And then it has all the stuff from the DVD. But this was I remember when American Pie came out in the theater, and it was such a big deal for many reasons. Number one, the work print leaked out, I think, a couple weeks before the movie came out in the theater. I do remember hearing about that, and I have that work print somewhere. And it was just it was a big hit. It was a big deal. Like I remember thinking, like, oh, it's going to be like this really, like, raunchy, nasty movie, and it's really not. I mean, yeah, there is some toilet humor and stuff like that, but like the scene where Stifler drinks the cum and stuff, but you don't see it, you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like that. It's really not. There's some really funny moments in it, and it's a very relatable film to a lot of people, but I love it. I didn't see it till later. Like, I remember my dad renting it when it first came out on VHS, but definitely wasn't going to be able to watch it then at 7 years old. But I didn't see it till later. I randomly caught it on Comedy Central one day. I'll never forget it. I was at my grandparents', and on their back porch, they had a TV, but they only had the cable. They didn't have digital cable for that TV, and I was just flipping through, and I stopped on Comedy Central, and the movie came on. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before, and I watch it. And I still really enjoyed the first movie. I have the laser disc because it was one of the last laser discs that Universal Studios put out. Have it on VHS. Still really enjoy it. And American Pie 2, I think, is a really solid sequel. I really like this one as well. So the first 2, I really enjoy. I think they're the best ones. American Wedding is I was never big on that movie, to be honest. There's some things I like about it, especially the stuff with Stifler, because it felt like they made Stifler more of the focus in that movie, which I do enjoy. But I was never big on that film. But I do really like American Reunion, so there you go. Can't complain about this one. And then out of... I thought this was really funny as well. And I know they're trying to do another one. Let's not and say that we did. Out of the spin-off movies, the only one I liked was Bandcamp. I have that actually on VHS because that was one of the last VHS that Universal put out. And it did get a Blu-ray, I think about a year or two ago. Finally came out on Blu-ray, so I'll pick that up at some point. But the other ones, it was Naked Mile, Book of Love. I want to say there was another one. I didn't care for those. And then they did that, like, gender-swapped remake, Girls' Night Out or whatever. Apparently that movie was god-awful. Like, I know it went on to streaming or whatever. But apparently that movie was so bad that nobody wanted to deal with it. So, there you go. Oh, there's a couple more here. My bad. I'm like, oh, let's move on. No, there's still some more. My bad. And then we have the Simpsons movie, which I do like the Simpsons movie, but I do think that it was too late when it came out because this came out in 2007 and the show had already been on for all 18 years at that point, so there you go. But I do like it for what it is. This Blu-ray sucks because it's a DVD upscale. It's MPEG 2. But it's Disney, so it's not going to happen, and they're trying to I did one of my favorite videos that I did on my old channel was that rant about the Simpsons DVDs. Because, they were making them, and then they got lazy, then they stopped making them, then everybody complained, and then they started making them again, and then nobody bought them, so they stopped making them again, and then nobody complained again. You guys see what's going on here? So there you go. I know they're trying to do a sequel. I don't know why, but oh well. But Marge has the best line in the movie. Will somebody throw the goddamn bomb? Like, that was the best line in the movie as far as I'm concerned. And then we have Hard Rain. I've actually always liked this movie. That's just me. It went over budget. It went over schedule. The weekend that the movie came out, Christian Slater got arrested, so that didn't help. But it was a big flop when it came out. But I've always liked it. I think it's a, good little late 90s action film. That's just how I feel. So there we go. Alright. So next up we have, actually, oddly enough, came out around the same time. I did not do that on purpose. Came out the same time as Hard Rain and was also a flop because Titanic. But we have Deep Rising. This is the Kino release. I was so happy when they put this out because it's got a bunch of extra features on here. One of my all-time favorite creature features. You cannot go wrong with Deep Rising as far as I'm concerned. I wish, because now he's gone, but I do wish that Treat Williams got interviewed. Apparently he did like this film. I did read an interview that he did, and they brought it up, and he said he really liked working on it, and he had a lot of fun and everything, but I don't know if they asked him and he said no, or they didn't ask him, or it was a scheduling thing, or whatever the case was, but I do wish that they did get an interview with him on here because now that he's gone. But love Deep Rising again. One of my all-time favorite creature features. And then I have the other three creature features that Stephen Sommers honestly is one of my favorite directors. Whether it's, he did the Jungle Book from the live-action Jungle Book from the 90s, which I quite like. He did Deep Rising. He did these movies. The G.I. Joe movie sucked, but I don't think it was his fault. And then after that, I think he only did Odd Thomas, which I never saw. But I always enjoyed his work as a director. I think he's a good writer. I wish he would kind of make a comeback, because I like his stuff. But we have The Mummy, which I do like The Mummy. Do I think it's like, a lot of people put it on this pedestal as like the greatest movie ever made and everything. Like, I don't know if they're being sarcastic or they're being serious. Either way, yes, it's a good movie. Is it the greatest movie ever made? No. Is it my favorite Brendan Fraser movie? No. So there's that. But I do like the movie. I think it is fun and it is solid. It is a good movie. And I also like The Mummy Returns. Now, when I was younger, I liked The Mummy Returns more. But as I gotten older, I think I like the first one more. Yes, technically it's The Rock's first movie, but he's only in the movie for the first 5 minutes, and then it's CGI. But other than that, I do think it's a good sequel. It's a good follow-up. But yeah, as a kid, I like that one more, I guess because The Rock was in it, and being a big wrestling fan. But as I've gotten older, I enjoy the first movie more. So there you go. And then we have Van Helsing, which I've always liked Van Helsing. I know it was a flop when it came out, and they were going to do a trilogy, they were going to do a TV series, and it just didn't happen. I don't think I like it as much as I used to, but I still like the film, because Hugh Jackman, I think, was a good choice for the role. Kate Beckinsale, not so much. Richard Roxburgh's Dracula, not so much. But there's some good stuff in there. The CG is fucking terrible. I don't think anybody would disagree. It's got some cool stuff in it, but I don't know if they rushed the film or there were rewrites or they changed things, but it does feel uneven at times. The musical score I really like. I can't complain about that. But I do like it for what it is. And it only came out on DVD. I want to say, I always do this. It's in the front. No, it's not. Not everything is in the front, Fob. You've got way too much shit. But I did like that animated movie they did too, the London Assignment, which was cool. I have that somewhere. But again, that only ever came out on DVD. I don't know why they did not include that as an extra feature on the Blu-ray. It's weird. Then we have Teen Wolf. Love Teen Wolf. That other 1985 Michael J. Fox movie. One of my favorite werewolf movies. I never saw the sequel. I really don't care, to be honest. I do have the cartoon over there because it came out as a bootleg. Shout Factory, who put this out, was supposed to put that out as well, but it never came out. But I love Teen Wolf. Very fun movie. Great soundtrack, too. Then we have Toy Soldiers. Love this. Early 90s action classic as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, this is a burnt... No, actually it's not. Is it? No, I think it's pressed. But it's cheap. Yeah, I think this is when... Yeah, they were doing that... Sony was doing like an on-demand program, but they actually pressed the disc. They didn't... Or no, did it? Let me check this one. Yeah, it's actually a pressed disc, but they didn't mass produce them. But I wish that this movie would get a special edition. Sorry, my fucking nose itches. It did okay when it came out in the theater, but it actually did very well on video. But it's Die Hard at a high school, prep school, whatever. But I always really enjoyed this movie. Always thought it was a really solid early 90s. You know, this would make a great double feature with The Taking of Beverly Hills, now that I think about it, because I talked about that in the last part, because they came out the same year. So yeah, maybe should do that one night. We'll see. And then we have... I'm not on cocaine. My fucking nose itches, and I have to sneeze, but it doesn't want to come out. They Call Me Bruce. If you've never seen this, this is fucking hilarious. They could not make this movie today, of course. But with Johnny Yoon, fortunately Johnny Yoon passed away, but he used to go on Johnny Carson a lot back in the day. And this is a movie where everybody thinks he's Bruce Lee. They did a sequel. The sequel's okay. It's not as good as the first. But this first one is hilarious. I absolutely love this movie. You cannot go wrong with They Call Me Bruce. And this is a Code Red release, which they're not around anymore either. But unfortunately, there's not much features on here. But this movie is hilarious if you've never seen it. That was one... I remember my dad, I think he rented it. And he's like, you gotta watch this movie, it's hilarious. I'm like, okay, and he was right. So there we go. I guess it could be considered Bruceploitation. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Alright. So... we'll wrap this cube up and then we'll get into this one. So first up we have The Hunt for Red October, which these Jack Ryan movies, I'm surprised they've never done updated special editions, to be perfectly honest. I guess Paramount wants too much money for them. But I like Hunt for Red October. Fuck Alec Baldwin. Sean Connery made this movie work. It's a really good military thriller. I just watched this recently because I was watching a bunch of Sean Connery movies. It's still... And also, it is the 35th anniversary. It's still very good. It's still a very solid, tight movie. You know, editing and pacing. You know, can't go wrong with Red October standing by. So there we go. Then we have Patriot Games, which my parents had this on VHS when I was a kid, so I'd watch it all the time. They got my books on! That's the line that we always quote from this movie. But love Patriot Games. Cannot go wrong. And then my favorite of the Jack Ryan movies, Clear and Present Danger. And these are the only three that I like. The Sum of All Fears, I think it's fucking boring. I think it's a snooze fest. Ben Affleck was a horrible choice. And then Shadow Recruit, I would say was a little bit better, but it was trying to be Mission Impossible. The Jack Ryan movies are not like Mission Impossible, so there you go. But this one was always my favorite. I love the story about how it's like this secret special operations, drug war, and Willem Dafoe as John Clark was good. The action sequences are really solid. You know, how dare you come in here and bark at me like I'm some junkyard dog? I'm the President of the United States. I don't dance, Mr. President. Harrison Ford was absolutely the better choice for Jack Ryan. Again, I was never a big Alec Baldwin fan. He is good in the first movie, I will say that, but Harrison Ford was the better choice as far as I'm concerned. And then we got some mostly Sonny Chiba here. So we have the Street Fighter trilogy. This is the Shout Factory release. I know Arrow put out their set, but I think there were no new extra features, unfortunately. But I love these movies. The first time I heard about these was actually in a comic book ad. There was a Jackie Chan comic book series back in the 90s called Spartan X. I think Topps had it, and then I think Image picked it up and reprinted it. And in the ads in there were like all the Jackie I guess that was part of the deal. All the ads were Jackie Chan stuff. And New Line had an ad in there like, here's our Jackie Chan videos. And they had an ad for the Street Fighter. I'm like, oh, is that like the video game? Is that like the Van Damme movie? No, not really. And finding these on like public domain $1 DVDs at Walmart back in the day and everything. But I love the first one's my favorite. I do like the sequels, but these are absolute classics on here. The first movie, they're all uncut. The Street Fighter's Last Revenge also has the American version as a bonus feature because I think they had some different scenes and stuff in there. Street Fighter and Return of the Street Fighter, they just had to edit some of the violence out, but Street Fighter's Last Revenge had some different scenes and stuff in there, which is why it's included. And there is an interview with Sonny Chiba on here, which is pretty cool. There's also an interview with Jack Shoulder because he edited the trailers, and when I met him, we talked about that, and he's like, yeah, I've had a lot of fun editing trailers and learned a lot and had a great time doing that. I was like, cool. But classics, absolutely love these movies. And I miss Sonny Chiba. Like I said, that was the first time I heard of him as a kid was through a comic book and, learning about him and checking out some of his movies and stuff. But he was basically the Japanese, for those that don't know, he was the Japanese equivalent of Bruce Lee, and him and Bruce Lee actually knew each other, and they were going to do a movie at some point, but of course that didn't happen. But there's some interviews I've seen where he spoke very glowingly about Bruce Lee, and he was very upset that they didn't get to work together because he really wanted to work with him. But Sonny Chiba was a legend. Before he started doing martial arts movies, he was a dramatic actor, and he was already very well known, very famous before he did the Street Fighter movies, which those were the movies that made him a superstar. And people looked at him as a karate guy because he had a legitimate martial artist. Like, he was a legitimate badass. But a lot of the stuff he did before Street Fighter, he wasn't able to use his martial arts, and he wanted to show that on screen, which is why he started doing more movies. And I need to get more of his stuff, like Karate Warriors I liked, the Masoyama trilogy, I want to get those. I think only some of those are on Blu-ray, they're not all on DVD, but he was a legend. He was an absolute fucking legend. I know most people know him from Kill Bill, but he was way more than Kill Bill. Then, he also did a lot of wacky movies like this, like Wolf Guy, but this one's pretty fun. So, I think he turns into he gets cursed by a werewolf or something. It's pretty out there, which is cool. And I think for the longest time, you couldn't get this here in America, so Arrow put this out, which is really cool. And it does have an interview with Sonny Chiba on here, and there's a combo pack when they still did that. So there you go. And then we have the biggest inspiration for Speed, the Bullet Train, and this has nothing to do with Bullet Train that came out a couple years ago, which I still have not seen. But this one, Sonny Chiba is not actually the star. He's like the second lead. The star is actually Ken Takakura, who was the Japanese cop in Black Rain. But yeah, this is the inspiration for Speed. It's about a bullet train that can't stop, and people want money. And good movie. It's a little long, I think. Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours. So it's one of those movies that you have to be in the mood to watch. But it is a good film. And then we have Doberman Cop with Sonny Chiba, which is another good one. I think this was, because this was what, 77. I think this was him trying to do Dirty Harry, like his version of Dirty Harry, but still a good movie. I can't complain. And then he's in the first one, but he's not in the sequels. But we have the sister Street Fighter collection with Itsuko Shihomi, who was the female Sonny Chiba. She like disappeared though, like no one's heard from her. Like she's still alive, but she ended up retiring and nobody's really heard from her. So I mean, I hope she's good. I hope everything is fine. But you have, again, the first one, which Sonny Chiba is in that movie, but he does not play the same character from the other Street Fighter movie, which is weird because when New Line put those out, they had the first three and then they had Sister Street Fighter, and they tried to market it as, he in Sister Street Fighter he was the same character. He's not the same character, so, but I like that one. And that's the only one that got released here from New Line. I don't know if they had the license for the other movies and they just didn't put it out. And there is an interview with Sonny Chiba on here too. And then you have Hanging by a Thread, Return of the Sister Street Fighter, and then Sister Street Fighter 5th Level Fist, which isn't really a part of the series. It's kind of a spin-off of Sister Street Fighter. So there you go. But all good stuff. I can't complain. Oh, and then Sister Street Fighter has the American version and the Japanese version on there. My bad. And then we have American Ninja 3, Blood Hunt. This is the old Ala Films release because they only re-released American Ninja 1 and 2. I don't know. Like Kino got American Ninja 1 and 2. I don't know if they got 3 and 4 or they just said, fuck it, we don't want 3 and 4. I don't know what the deal is there, but these are out of print. There is some interviews on here, and then it has David Bradley's audition, which is cool. But, David Bradley, where are you? We'd love to hear from you. Maybe I'll make a documentary where I go find him or something. I don't know. I like American Ninja 3. This is basically a remake of the second movie if you think about it, but I wish that Steve James became the lead because he deserved. And I don't have anything wrong with David Bradley. I like David Bradley. But Steve James should have been the lead because he was the real American Ninja, to be honest. And I know that's one of the reasons why he didn't do part 4, because he was tired of being looked at as the token black sidekick, which that bothered him. So there you go. Because he would have kicked ass all on his own. But Steve James is the best part of this movie. And then, of course, we have American Ninja 4, The Annihilation. I don't think there's any good movie out there that has Annihilation in the title. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I actually just watched. Yes, good fight scenes, good soundtrack, but not that good of a movie. Doom Annihilation, which I didn't bother to watch. So there you go. And there is an interview with Michael Dudikoff on here, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know why these did not get picked up by Kino or another company. I would assume they just didn't want them. They only wanted the first 2 American Ninjas, which I do have those releases. I just haven't watched them yet. I had the Ala films of the first 2 movies, but I got rid of them because the Kino releases have new extra features, or more extra features. I have the 88 films released because there's all sorts of features, different. But it's American Ninja 1 and 2. You can't go wrong with those. Alright, cube number 1 is done. Let's go ahead and got about 30 minutes left on this part here. We'll go ahead and try to get this cube knocked out. So there we go. Now I got the damn Street Fighter theme song stuck in my head. I love the Rat Nose. I love that guy in the first movie. I think he's in the third Street Fight. I think he's in Street Fighter's Last Revenge, but I think he plays a different character. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't watched those in forever. I need to get those movies out. First up, The First Power, classic. See you around, buddy boy. I watched this over Halloween because it definitely fits, and it's the 35th anniversary. But very underrated movie, at least in my book. I really enjoyed this movie. And I know the Denzel Washington movie, Fallen, was a remake of this for the most part. I don't like that movie, but I like this movie. I just don't like the ending where, oh, is he alive? Is he dead? Is he now the demon? I'm like, okay, that's fucking dumb. But still a very solid, early 90s action horror hybrid when they made those kind of movies, all practical effects. You can't go wrong. Then we have Dazed and Confused, the Criterion Collection, one of my all-time favorite comedies, one of the best soundtracks ever in a movie, don't get me wrong. Great film, absolutely great film, classic movie. And one of my brother's favorite movies too, because we watch it all the time. National Security with Martin Lawrence. I like this. I think it's funny. I don't think it's as good as Bad Boys or Blue Streak, but I still like it enough. Eric Roberts plays the bad guy. You can't go wrong. And I do like Steve Zahn in it as well. You know what's so funny is they're doing that Anaconda remake and Steve Zahn is in it, but they didn't give him any credit or attention in the trailer, which I thought was fucking dumb. It's like, people know who Steve Zahn is. Like, come on. Then we have Freaky, which I actually, other than the woke shit, I actually really enjoyed this movie. This is the Killer Switch edition. I did review this before the channel got shut down. But I really like this film. I think I downloaded it or something, or found it online a couple years ago because people were recommending it, and I really liked it. But Vince Vaughn, I love Vince Vaughn, and he was perfect in this. And I like Catherine Newton. I don't think she's a bad actress, and she's pretty cute too, so I can't complain. But I do like this film. I actually have like a custom VHS of this, which is cool. But it came out during COVID, so it didn't really do anything in the theaters. But I think word of mouth and stuff got out, and yeah, it's Freaky Friday as a slasher film. You can't go wrong. And then I have the Maniac Cop movies. So first up, I have the Synapse release because the extra features didn't make it over to the German release. So there's that. But I always really liked the Maniac Cop movies. I know there were talks of doing a remake, and then John Hyams was going to do it, Peter Hyams' son. That didn't happen, thank God, because we didn't need that. But I do like the Maniac Cop movies quite a bit. And then we have the German release, which has different extra features. So that's, same artwork. There you go. Yeah, this Blu-ray case is a little better. But yeah, always enjoyed that. And then we have Maniac Cop 2 from Blue Underground. Oh, I forgot there was a commentary with Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive. So there you go. Cool, I'll have to listen to that. And then we have Maniac Cop 3, which I would say I like this one the most because Robert Davi didn't really have that much to do in Maniac Cop 2. This movie, he had more to do. Excuse me, there's that sneeze I was looking for. Yeah, because he was running around shooting people and stuff. Maniac Cop 2, he didn't really have that much to do. But this movie is interesting because they only had half of a movie, so they recycled footage from the first two movies to pad it out, but there's deleted scenes and stuff on here, which is strange, so I don't know. But, again, I like all three Maniac Cop films. You can't go wrong. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the top, the front, and then we'll go to the back row. Alright, now we got Highlander. The Blu-rays, at least. So we have the 4K Blu-ray combo of the original, because this one had new extra features and a new transfer and stuff, which is why I got it. So yeah, there's the Immortal Attraction of Highlander documentary. There's a featurette about the Queen music. There's an interview with Clancy Brown, an interview with the photographer, and then there's 1, 2, 3 audio commentaries on here. So there you go. So there's Highlander. Then we have Highlander 2, which this is the Lionsgate Blu-ray. I had the Olive Films Blu-ray, but the audio mix on that was awful. This one is out of print now. I don't know what it goes for. I think when I got it, it had just gone out of print, but I was able to get it for a decent price. And this one has all the features from the special edition DVD, except the only thing that's not on here is the branching option. On the DVD, there was a branching option where when the sword pops up, you click it and it'll show behind the scenes footage and stuff. That's the only thing that's not on here, which that's the other thing. I know I've talked about this in the past with like Joyride, because Joyride had that on the DVD but not the Blu-ray. You mean to tell me that with Blu-ray and 4K technology, you can't do a branching option to pick different endings? And it's like, come on, people, really? That's a outdated process for DVD? Somehow I find that very hard to believe. It's just laziness, like everything else that these fucking people don't want to do. Okay, I don't need a new cell phone. Okay, I just updated it. Anyway, but love Highlander 2. And then we have the European version of Highlander Endgame, because it never came out on Blu-ray here in America. The deleted scenes are on here, and then there's a little featurette, but all the other features aren't on here, and it doesn't have... it only has the producer's cut. It doesn't have the alternate cut that was on the DVD and such. So there you go. Which is why I still have it on DVD, as we covered in a previous segment. And then I have the 3 seasons that came out on Blu-ray. These were put out by... it's not around anymore, but it was called Legendary Heroes. They owned the Highlander franchise and Hercules and Xena. So I don't know where... I think Hercules and Xena's Universal. I think they own them. So I guess they license it. But they owned the Highlander stuff for a little bit. So they put these out. The quality on these Blu-rays is terrible. I know they went out of print very quickly. I don't know what the prices are. But I found all 3 of these at Entertain Mart when I was in Colorado, and I got them decently priced, so I can't complain. So we have Season 1. This has all the extra features from the DVD set. This is the only one. Season 2 and 3 have features, but they don't have all the features from the DVDs. So there you go. This is the only one that did. And there's also a brand new interview they did with Christopher Lambert and Adrian Paul for this release. But again, the quality is absolutely fucking terrible on here. I know a lot of people complained about that. They're American releases, but for some reason they have the German rating on there. I don't know why. And what's the name of the VEI ended up getting the license to Highlander, and they did a DVD set. They were going to put them out on Blu-ray. There was a promo and stuff that was done, but it never ended up coming out. So I don't know what happened in Season 2. So yeah, there is new extra features on here, but I don't think it has the stuff from the DVD. So that's why I kept. And of course, it doesn't tell you when you open up the package here. So that's why I still haven't... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's on the back. Yeah, it's got some new stuff. But it doesn't... Again, it does not have... It's got, like, fan stuff. I don't give a fuck, okay? I'm a fan, but I don't care about what other fans have to say, okay? I want to hear from Adrian Paul and people that worked on the show. So there's that. And then we have season 3. So they only put out the first 3 seasons. I don't know what happened. I don't know if enough people complained and they said we should probably stop doing this or what the case was. But yeah. And then same thing. It's got I think it's got new extra features. And then but it doesn't have all the stuff from the DVD releases. So that's why, once again, you got to have both. Because they're fucking lazy. But yeah, those are... I got them because I love the show, but the quality's fucking terrible. And like I said, I believe enough people complained about it to where, you know, they said, we should probably stop doing this. So there you go. Anyway. Alright. We got SWAT. This is the regular or the individual release. I know we covered in a previous part the double feature with Basic. This has some, actually, it only has the deleted scenes on here. I don't know why. Again, it's the same company, but SWAT, the DVD has all the extra features. The Blu-rays don't. And I think even, like, 88 Films released it. I think even that Blu-ray doesn't have all the features from the DVD. So, I don't know why they're that fucking stupid and lazy and incompetent, but oh well. They are. So, that's why I have, you know, have it on DVD and I have multiple Blu-ray. Well, the other Blu-ray I have because of Basic. But Basic got a German release. I'll have to pick that up at some point. Anyway, excuse me. But we have Bubba Hotep, which I love. Joe Bob Briggs is showing this, I think, January, February in Philly. I'm not going to Philly, but he's doing a screening of this, which is pretty cool. But I love this movie. Absolutely love it. Then we have Office Space. Love Office Space, another classic. Of course, it's actually properly encoded, so this is not that bad. But, of course, it's Disney now, so it's not going to get an updated special edition, but oh well. And then we have Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie. Look, at the end of the day, this is a movie. Howard Stern, I used to be a Howard Stern fan, and then as I got older and I started to realize how much of a dick he actually was, and not in like the funny way, like, oh, he's our dick. No, he's just a dick. And then in more recent years, all he does is he complained about COVID and he was afraid to go outside of his house, and you know, he's embarrassed that he's bald, so he wears a wig, and then he can't shut up about fucking Trump and everything, and he's like, I'm woke, guys, so that he doesn't get canceled, because again, this is the guy that would hold who's the biggest retard contest on TV and get all these women naked and everything, but he's such a pillar of you know, good behavior. So there's that. And then he would always talk about like the Olsen twins, like how hot the Olsen twins were, and they were children. One of the reasons why Dana Plato killed herself is because she went on Howard Stern and he made fun of her and everything. So yeah, Howard Stern is a stand-up guy. But again, at the end of the day, this is a movie. Excuse me. Then we have Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. I did review this before the channel got shut down. I love this movie. This is a very underrated 80s action comedy. I absolutely love this film. Can't go wrong. Then we got Scrooged. Christmas classic. I'll probably try to watch this, you know, around this time of the year. We'll see. But another film, I know it's Paramount, but I don't know why this one never got a super duper deluxe. I think there were plans to do one for DVD, and then it got canceled. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know why that movie's never gotten a super duper deluxe Blu-ray or DVD. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Then we have Courage Under Fire. Great movie. Not one that I watch again and again and again, but great performances. You got Denzel in here, Lou Diamond Phillips, Matt Damon. You know, really, really solid movie. Shitty quality because it's MPEG 2. It's a DVD upscale. But, you know, very solid movie. Good stuff. And then we have Space Jam Steelbook. Can't go wrong with Space Jam. It's a combo pack too, which is cool. Everybody get up. It's time to slam now. Sorry. Then we have War Dogs. I actually really like this movie. I think it's pretty good, pretty funny. Good stuff in here. I like that they parody the Scarface poster here. But good movie. Can't go wrong with this. And then we have the only two good Hellboy films as far as I'm concerned. We have the original movie. This is the director's cut. There is the 4K has both cuts of the movie, and I think it has most of the extra features because I have this on DVD as well because the features from the DVD didn't make it to the Blu-ray. But like I said, I think the 4K has most of the extra features. I have to look a little deeper into that, so I'll pick that up at some point. But I actually prefer the director's cut because it is Guillermo del Toro. But love Hellboy. Really, really solid stuff. And I also really like Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and I love that lenticular slipcover. That's really cool. I need to get more into the comics. I always liked the character, but I never really got into the comics, which is, that's on me. But really like these movies. Really solid movies. Unfortunately, Hellboy 2 didn't do that well, and I think it came out... It might have been the same month as The Dark Knight. I'm not sure. I know it was around the same time, so it got killed. So that's why they never did a Hellboy 3. And plus, this is Sony. This is Universal. The rights change, so, it is what it is. But I know they keep talking about doing a Hellboy 3. No, because Ron Perlman's fucking retarded, and he's too old. Let's enjoy the two that we have. So there you go. Alright. Excuse me. Sorry, getting all stuffy here. It's cold. We have Blast, which is an Albert Pion film. This was a blind buy. I love the knockoff Die Hard poster, but it's Die Hard. It's kind of a Die Hard ripoff, but I like it because Lyndon Ashby got to be the lead, which he didn't really get to be the lead in a lot of movies. And Rutger Hauer's in it. Andrew Dykoff is the villain, so you can't go wrong with that. But not a bad Die Hard type of knockoff movie. I haven't watched it in forever, though. I need to pop it back in, but not too bad. That was MVD. Then we have Unfriended. I like the first Unfriended. I thought the sequel was terrible, but I really like this film. I didn't see it until I was in the Army. And we were on a train for like 3 weeks, and we used to just stay up all night and hang out and watch movies and stuff. And this is one of the movies that we watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, which is why I grabbed it. So, but yeah, the second one I thought was terrible, but the first one I thought was good. I have these backwards, my bad. So first up, Starship Troopers, one of the movies that inspired me to join the military the most. So there you go. But classic film. Absolutely love Starship Troopers. It doesn't it's got features, but I think it was just stuff from back in the day. I don't think this had anything new. But this is another movie that I guess Sony wants too much money for. But this is another film that I don't know why they never did a updated Blu-ray, especially now because this movie has become this big cult classic and everything. When it came out in theaters, it didn't do well. It flopped. But I remember seeing it when it first came out on VHS. It did very well on video, and this is another film that was constantly on TV when I was growing up, so I would always watch it. And I still love it. Yeah, I know it's about fascism and all this other shit, but it's just a movie, guys. It's only a fucking movie. Get over it. And Paul Verhoeven, like he did with all of his films, he was making fun of fascism, and he was making fun of things like he did with RoboCop, where he was making fun of consumerism and the yuppies, and Total Recall, making fun of everybody needs to go on vacation and get away and all that. So that's his style, which I love. I love Paul Verhoeven. I always did. I did not like Paul Verhoeven. I did not like the book. I tried to read the book several times. I had the book at one point, and like Paul Verhoeven, I found it very boring and sluggish. So I love the movie. The sequels suck. I did not like the sequels, but I did like this. This is Starship Troopers Invasion, which is one of the CGI movies. They did a couple other ones. I want to check those out. This was the first one, but I thought this was really good. I really like this one. Casper Van Dien is one of the producers. I don't think he's in it, though. I don't think he did the voice of Johnny Rico. Some of the other ones he did. But I think he was just a producer on this movie. But this was pretty good. Pretty solid stuff. Like I said, I think there's maybe 2 more. I know Trader of Mars was one. They might have did another one. I'm not entirely sure. I think there might be 2 more. But I got to check those out. And I think there's a new Starship Troopers video game coming out. I did see a trailer pop up for that, but I haven't watched it yet. So there you go. Next up, we have 61, which was made for HBO. Billy Crystal directed this, about the home run race between Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. Great movie. I remember when this premiered on HBO and they ran the shit out of it. I had it. I don't know if I still have it or not, but I did have it on VHS. I remember my mom getting it on VHS, and I used to watch it all the time. I still really like it. I've not watched this movie in forever. I still think it's really good, really solid. Thomas Jane and Barry Pepper give great performances. 2 actors I've always liked. Thomas Jane in real life is a dick, but as an actor, I've always really enjoyed his work. And I know he said recently, like, I shouldn't have played the Punisher, I'm not Italian. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Neither was Dolph Lundgren, okay? Like, oh well, just trying to keep that fame, I guess. I don't know. Brilliant movie here, The Way of the Gun. Absolutely love this film. I want to watch this before the year is over because it is the 25th anniversary. Via Visions in Australia it was part of a box set. I do want to get that because I think that has new extra features and plus the other movies in that set. I think it was Narc, which I love. Blue Steel was in that set. I can't remember the other movie. But if you have not seen this movie, this is really solid. I'll never forget growing up, there was a guy one of my cousins used to date. Nice guy, just it's funny because they were pretty serious, her and this guy. They were pretty serious, and then after 9/11 happened, he ended up enlisting in the military, and they broke up because of that. But luckily, everything was okay. He served, he came out. Last I heard, he had gotten married and had kids, and everything is good. I think him and my cousin ended up becoming friends, after that, which is good. I'm glad, I'm glad everything was okay, because I thought he was cool. I liked him. I thought he was a nice guy, and I was pretty bummed out when they broke up because he was a good dude, and yeah, he ended up I think he joined the army, but yeah, he did some tours overseas. He went to Afghanistan and stuff, but he came back in one piece. And from last I heard, he got married and had some kids, and all good. So that's awesome. But I remember him talking about this movie when it first came out, and it was just always in my head. And like the title, The Way of the Gun, really cool and really solid movie. If you have not seen this, check it out. One of the best openings for a movie ever. Sarah Silverman is running her mouth, and Ryan Felipe says, "Shut that cunt's mouth before I go over there and start her head," and he punches her. And he accidentally punched her for real. I guess he got excited in the moment, and that's why in the movie her mouth is bleeding and she starts crying, because that wasn't acting, that was for real. But I can't stand Sarah Silverman, so there's that. Anyway, we have Radio Flyer, which probably should not have watched this movie as a kid, but it's a pretty tough movie to sit through, but it is a very good movie. But it's about child abuse and stuff. But yeah, probably should not have watched that movie as a child, but oh well. And then we have the Disney Halloween collection here of Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus. So Hocus Pocus got a bunch of extras on there, and same with Nightmare Before Christmas. Absolutely love both of these movies. I cannot complain. And I like this little slip box that they did. I thought that was cool. I got this at a video game store, actually, which is cool. I think they moved to a different location, but I need to get up there. I haven't been there in quite a while. But good stuff. I'll probably watch Nightmare Before Christmas, probably closer to Christmas, but there you go. So we're about at an hour. You know what? We'll cut it here, and then we'll pick up in the back here, and then we'll the next part we'll get this done, and then this cube will be done, and we'll probably start working in here. So that's it. I think this is part 9, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because 7 I uploaded on, in case this comes out later, December 10th I uploaded part 7. Let me look at this here, my bad. All the drugs. It's all the drugs! Too many drugs! Yeah, part 7 I uploaded December 10th, and then part 8 and part 9 I just recorded now, and I'll probably record part 10 in a minute here, and we'll get that done. Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you on the next. I don't know what the hell's going on. My bad. We'll talk to you guys on the next one. See ya. Too many drugs, folks. Don't do drugs.